Hello, hi and welcome. Sita here from the Shawl Unplugged. It's so nice to be back. Maybe you've been wondering where I am, what I've been up to, but I have been posting some very small videos and shorts, and my Instagram will probably tell you, and you probably know that I am currently back in India, where I just love to spend time amongst all the colorful people and the exotic environments and the magical mystery of life in India. So if you haven't watched my podcast before, my name is Sita and I'm originally from South Africa, where I spend a bit of time, but mostly I have been living in India for over 10 years, and I am a knitter, I'm a textile designer, I dye yarn, I spin yarn, I love yarn, I love colour, and I love my colourful life, which extends to what I do to keep myself spinning on the planet, and sharing, teaching. I teach spinning. I've taught some very specific embroidery techniques, and I love to learn. So wherever I go in India, I tend to find myself in tribal areas where there is wonderful craft already existing, and I am drawn to these crafts and I tend to learn them, and then sometimes I transform them into my incarnation, or my way of doing things. Anyway, I'm here and I'm knitting, and I'm wearing lots of colorful knitted things, and I've got quite a lot to share because I haven't actually really sat down and done a podcast for maybe 2 months. I'm really not sure. So just to catch you up a bit, I also take small tours to India. So the beginning of November, I brought 6 people over to India and took them on a tour for 3 weeks, which was really wonderful. Then they left and I could carry on with my life here. I ended up in Varanasi, which is on the Ganges River, the holy city of Shiva, and a city that I have lived in for 2 years back in 2008 and 2009, and it was such a blessing to be there. I just loved it. It was just gorgeous, and to revisit all the places that I knew and all the faces that I remembered and who remembered me. And it really felt like a homecoming because I had not been there for 10 years, and yet still the same people were around, and it was just wonderful. So I've moved on from Varanasi, and I am now in Rishikesh, which is also another place where I have lived in the past for about 5 years. And if you know anything about India, you know that Rishikesh is the home of yoga, and it is also on the Ganges River, but it's on a very beautiful spot as the Ganges breaks through the mountains of the Himalayas and the foothills, which are not really hills, they're just more mountains, and it bursts out onto the plains at Rishikesh. This used to be a very ancient holy place for sages who were going to do the yatra, or the pilgrimage, to the temples in the mountains on foot. A couple of 100 kilometers people would walk on foot high up into the snowy peaks of the Himalayas to the very, very sacred temples to go and pay their respects to the gods. And if they returned, it would probably take around about 3 months for this trip to happen. But nowadays, there is a highway to the mountains, which is extremely convenient, but very sad. Very, very sad, because it has brought with it lots of construction and tourism, and not spiritual tourism, but tourist tourism. And yeah, it's all about progress, about change, about life. So that's what's happening all over, and it's also happening in India. But luckily, the ancientness does not stop. So for me, being in India is really about that feeling of ancient tradition and sacredness and inclusiveness and beauty and color, and it's just magical. Anyway, I'm not here to wax on lyrically about India, although I could for a very long time. I'm here to show you what I've been knitting and tell you about my colourful knitting, spinning life. So what I'm wearing are a couple of things that I've recently finished. I won a lovely set of minis from Ching Fibre in the UK a few months back now, probably 3 months back, and it was through Instagram, and I was like wildly excited to have won this beyond colourful set of minis, and to find a friend who was returning from the UK to South Africa to bring them for me, because it's not very easy for us to receive parcels from overseas without having to pay taxes, and it takes a long time and it's expensive. So I received these wonderful minis from Ching Fibre, and they were just all neons and variegated and plains and just gorgeous colors. So I thought, what can I make with this? Then very soon after that, Yamagara came out with a very lovely little shawlette called Grainwise, which was not intended for minis or multicolors. I saw the test knits and they were mostly single colors, but it lended itself to stripes. So I decided to knit it with my my gift from Ching Fibre, and I'm wearing it around my neck right now, along with another shawl, which I'll have to take off in order to show you. So this is the Grainwise, and it's called a shawlette. It's really lovely. It's long, and it goes, you start at this end, and it's sort of stepped with a little bits of lace on the points. So I simply took the minis and started playing with them. And this is my result. Every time I put in a bright stripe, then I would put in 3 or so stripes of another color and just pull them out the bag and keep going until I reach the end of it. And as you can see, it's got this lovely scallop border all the way along the edge, and it just gets wider and wider. And then the last section where you decrease just does not have any scallops. So it's this lovely fingering weight yarn, and it's merino with a bit of nylon, so it's a pure sock yarn. And it's lovely and soft and light, and it's small enough just to throw on and wrap around and just give you that extra little bit of warmth that you might want around your neck. It's very cold here right now. I'm in the mountains, very close to the Himalayas. It's not snowing or freezing by any means, but it's chilly and one does need layers. So I'm wearing lots of layers, and this one seems to stay put because it just stands out and it goes with anything. So that's the first finished item that I'd like to share with you. Then I brought tons of yarn with me, probably about 4 or 5 kilos of yarn. I use these vacuum bags, so I vacuum them and I have this pump and I squash them all in, and really they just turned into nothing. So I could bring quite a lot of yarn with me. And so I could just pick and choose whatever I wanted to do. So I had made a couple of years back, I don't know when it came out, a lovely a triangular shawl from Joji Locatelli called Age of Gold. And I made it in a lovely golden brown color with an orange border. But I had these two skeins from Cowgirl Blues. I don't know what they're called. One was a mohair and the other was a sock yarn. I think it was actually a twist, sock yarn twist. So I decided to make this alternating stripes. So it's 2 rows of sock yarn and 2 rows of mohair, if you can see the detail there. And I made this wonderful lightweight triangular shawl. And then towards the border, I went just straight into the mohair. So it's just the mohair. You can see that last section. And then there's a lovely border which I used the sock yarn for by itself. It's got these little shells and a little bit of lace, and it is quite a quick knit, and it's a very lovely featherweight, gorgeous piece of textile, and I love to wrap myself up in it, especially when I sit in bed and I watch podcasts while I knit. This is sort of my outfit, as it were. So what else? I've knitted loads of socks, probably before I came and while I've been here, because I've always got a pair of socks on the go. And when I'm in India, I'm on trains a lot, and I also knit on the plane. In fact, I think I knitted this. This was part of my flying knitting. So I have quite a few pairs of socks from Westknits, from Stephen West. And there is, my favorite pattern of his is the painting brick sock. And I've made quite a few of those. This was the first pair that I ever made. Isn't it gorgeous? Wild and bright and very well worn. These are not new. These have been washed and blocked and worn and washed. And the heels are holding up very well. So that was the first pair I made. Then I made another pair, which is a brand new pair, which will be a gift for somebody in a much lighter color. This is a great sock, let me tell you. And this garter heel has become one of my favorite heels. I knit quite a lot of socks. I mean, I'm not a major sock knitter, but every time I knit a sock, I try to find a different heel construction. And that works, that really works, because I wear through my heels like very fast. I'm not sure why, but I do. But this is it's got this lovely garter heel, and I find that it's very sturdy, it's strong, and secondly, it looks good. So that was the second pair of painting bricks socks. I have another pair somewhere, but they're in the cupboard. And then this is also a pair that I made quite a while ago. This was called Rain or Shine. And I think this might have been the first pair of socks that Stephen actually started off with when he brought out his sock designs. And now he's well on his way into bringing out a sock a month. And he's got a sock club for the year. And that is just wonderful. But I have my favorites and I like to stick to them. So this one also has the garter heel. And then there's a new pattern that I've found. Now, I can't think of the name of the designer, but it's called Vanilla Princess Socks. And it has this incredibly different heel construction. This is a pair that I have made as a gift for a friend, but it's not blocked yet. And I don't know if I can even show you the heel. It's got this at the back of so this is the sock. This is what it looks like. It hasn't been blocked yet. So it's kind of all pulled in. There's the sock, and there's the heel, and that's the heel at the back. So what you do is you knit the leg, and then at a point here, you put in 2 markers and you have a central stitch. And you knit this reverse stocking stitch panel, increasing on either sides, and that forms the back of the heel. Can you see that? Then you do the underside of the heel, And there's not really a gusset, you just pick up the stitches and you carry on. So that's called the Vanilla Princess. I've made a few pairs of these. I do like this heel. I can't say how well it wears yet. I would imagine that the garter heel is the strongest one. What have I got on right now? Oh yes, I've got on another pair of painting bricks. That's where the other pair is. I'm not going to put my foot up in the air and show you. But so I've got quite a lot of socks, and so at the moment I don't have any socks on the needle, so I have to decide which socks I'd like to do next and get them cast on, so that when I go away, my next trip I think will be in February on the train, so I'll have some good hours to knit socks. Now, something that I made a while ago, and I'd love to share it with you because it seems that ponchos are all the rage at the moment. And I've seen Amy Pelko has designed a beautiful poncho, which I'm very tempted to knit, called the Korean poncho. But I don't really have DK yarn, and I knitted a poncho in the beginning of 2020. It was at a time when I was stuck on a farm up in Botswana in Africa at a friend's house, and took a chance and ordered online all the way from Cowgirl Blues in South Africa this beautiful variegated chunky yarn, which is not something I normally work with at all. It must have been on a sale or something. And Espace Tricot have some wonderful free patterns. So I'm just going to slip this on quickly for you and show you. It's a chunky knit poncho, and it's got this lovely detail down the sides. That's where the increases are in this rib section, and a split hem, and I've made the front shorter than the back. And this is also one of my everyday wear all the time layers. Just organize myself. It's really chilly. One needs layers. So it's got this neck, which I do wear just like this, and I'll just get up a bit so you can see it's not very long. And the thing that I love the most about it is that it's got these slits on the arms. If I get it in the right position. So if you've got a poncho that's long, every time you lift your arms up, the thing is going to move around, but this gives you a lot more freedom, and space-wise as well. I think it's very cleverly designed, and it's in a chunky, so it goes very fast. I've got a little turtleneck underneath here, so sometimes what I do is just for a change, is I just fold my collar over it, and then it just looks like that. But this is a wonderful garment, and this was a poncho. If you go and look on Espace Tricot's free patterns on their website, they've got an amazing amount of free patterns, and you can see it's got this lovely detail down both shoulders, and it's really warm, and I enjoy it very much. So I brought that along with me because I knew that I would be needing something warm. One of my, what should I tell you about next? Oh, I'll tell you about what's on my needles right now. I've got a few things on my needles, but I kind of got a little bit sort of caught up with the Advent. I don't have an Advent. I never bought an Advent ever, but I have a lot of scraps and still some of my ching fiber scraps. And I really love Curious Handmade. Helen, what's her surname? Curious Handmade is her label. She has wonderful Advent patterns. I've made the anthology throw during the year last year. Really enjoyed that. It was a very, very big thing. And then I found she had, I went and had a look at her patterns, and she had this free cowl called Simply Scrappy Cowl, made for Advents. So I hauled out some of my ching fiber singles that I still had, and a bit of, some of my scraps, and I'm busy making this cowl. It's very simple. It's just like a long tube, And every 8 rows there's this yarn over holy lace design, and I'm adding the colors in there, and then just knitting stripe off the background. And these are all hand dyed fingering weight yarns, mostly South African, some of them mine, some of them from other South African dyers. And this is almost like having a sock, because it's just round and round and stocking stitch, and every now and again some holes, and nothing much to memorize. And it's on a 3.5mm needle. So it's very sweet, and I'm loving these sort of soft colors. It'll probably end up being a gift, as it's not really my colors, but I am really enjoying knitting it. So that, I think, is just I have something else which I'm not really going to talk about until it's finished, but I have also come to India to purchase some very specialized yarns, and those yarns are mulberry silk and eri silk. Eri silk being a cruelty-free silk that is extracted from the cocoon once the moth has left, and is really lovely. It's kind of like a raw silk. It's quite, it's not a soft, shiny silk. It's very lovely to the touch, sort of crisp and yet soft, a bit like a cotton, but it is so strong you cannot break this thread with your hands. And this is just one of the gorgeous colors that I have. I have bought about 6 or 8 colors and natural, and I will take those back with me to South Africa. But I am knitting a project at the moment with the eri silk and together with some linen that I'm trying out, because I thought next time I come I'd like to bring back some of the linen yarns. So I did get some linen yarn, and I decided to knit a top that's a firm favorite of mine, that I knitted earlier on this year. A very dear friend brought me some Sanders Garn Lena cotton linen yarn from Norway, and I made this Helix pullover from Maed designs. This is just a stunning garment. As you can see, it's soft, floppy, and got this lovely lace pattern. So whatever you wear underneath it sort of, highlights it, and it's really warm. I love it. I mean, I'm very happy that I brought it with me. I would even wear it over this purple turtleneck. In fact, I have been doing that, just when I'm out in the day, and it's a gorgeous garment. So I thought, great, the linen requires me to make something summery or lightweight out of it. It's quite thin, and I was a little bit nervous because it looked sort of a bit stringy. But nevertheless, I held it double, and I repeated. I made another helix, and I love this one. This one is gorgeous. It's a slightly variegated color, although maybe it won't show so much in the light here. It's sort of pink with a little bit of yellow. It's kind of very pale flamingo-ish kind of, you can definitely see the yellow when you're closer to it, but I think because the light's so bright here, you can't really see. So I made another helix pullover, and it's beautiful. This one I've made with 3/4 sleeves because I was afraid of running out, and you can see it's very holey. I haven't actually blocked it, but I have worn it quite a few times, and I'm not sure that blocking it is going to stretch it at all. It doesn't have any stretch actually in the yarn. I washed all the skeins before I used them because they felt a bit dusty. So I think it's going to hang out, and just be its lovely linen self, which is what it is. So I am going to bring back some linen on a future occasion, but this is what I made for now, simply because I really can't carry any more yarn. I think I've reached my max with what I can carry. So this, yeah, and this was very quick, very, very quick. I think I knitted this in under 2 weeks, and I'm very happy to have it. It's so lovely, and floppy and gorgeous. What else can I say? Well, I've been living, absolutely living in my slipstravaganza. Wherever I go, if you've been watching my Instagram at all, wherever I go in India, I'm wearing my slipstravaganza by Stephen West, and I totally love it. It really needs a wash now. It's lying here next to me because it needs to be washed. Not quite sure if I can block it where I am, but I think once I've blocked my shawls once, I don't block them again. I just hang them on the washing line. But it's wearing so well, really, really well. This is mostly made out of my own hand-dyed sock yarn and some natural with a bit of fleck in, which I think is from Big Fox Designs. And then there's a fair amount of African Expressions mohair in it, in the border and in a few other places. And this is my pièce de résistance. I love this shawl. I've knitted 5 of them, and this is the only one that I have, and it's not going anywhere, although it does get quite a lot of attention. So that is that. All the colourful things in India. It's just so exciting. Then I also remembered that it was somebody had started, I can't remember quite who, 100 days of spindle spinning. And I always liked to spin. I used to have a practice where I would spin every single day for 30 minutes on my little Turkish spindles, and I would usually have at least one spindle with me. But lo and behold, I discovered I didn't even have one spindle with me. I really could not believe it. That's possibly because the last time I unpacked my spindles, one had got broken in a suitcase. And I did manage to stick it back together. But nevertheless, so I had to order some fibre and a spindle while I was in India. So I did that. I ordered some fibre. This is really beautiful. From Sunray Creations. I get a lot of my mulberry silk from Sunray, and she makes these wonderful rolags, and this is a merino and eri silk mixture, and I'm really loving spinning with it. And she made me a spindle. Well, she didn't make it particularly for me. She makes her own little drop spindles. So that is what I've got. And I'm spinning on it, and I'm participating, got back into my practice of spinning daily, and it's really such a beautiful meditative space to be in. I'm really grateful to do that. I'm managing to spin extremely fine thread, which is really exciting me because I want to make a 2-ply fingering weight. And yeah, when I spin, you know, I'm not at all thinking about what I'm going to make with the yarn. I'm making the yarn, and that just brings me so much joy. And all these different fibers in here is really lovely. I'm going to be getting some more fiber from her soon, as well as some pure silk fiber that I have sourced from another person in India. So, you know, while I'm here, my eyes on stalks completely. I never stop looking, and there's so much to look at, and there's so much color, and there's so much to learn. And I just wish I could bring back 100 kilos of luggage, because I would. Anyway, I bring back what I can, and luckily I will be staying in India until March, and then I will come back again in October, and I'll do it again, and I'll take it home, and I'll come back as many times as I have to. So I feel like I have found my groove again, post-COVID. It did feel like my life came to a very big standstill during that time. But this year, I just have to say, as we are at the end of 2023, has been an incredible year. It really has. For me, it's been a year of regaining my trust in life, to support me, and that what I do, when I do what I love, the universe is always there to support me. And I've had a fantastic year, and I've made some wonderful connections. I've met beautiful people, and yes, found community in South Africa as well, where I will go back in March and settle for the time when I'm in South Africa. I've found a home space which I never had before, and I will keep on coming back, and I will keep on sharing India with people who are interested in experiencing my side of India, which is the colorful side, the more peaceful side, the spiritual side, and the part of India that is ancient and just brings peace. So I think it's the solstice today, if I'm not mistaken. So I wish everybody around the world a very, very beautiful festive season, and a most prosperous and wonderful 2024. And I'm going to just keep on doing what I do, and keep on sending out prayers of gratitude for everything that I receive. I also re-established a very beautiful relationship with my sister this year, which has meant so much to me, to regain my family. She lives very far away, and we have not spoken for many years, but we have reconnected very recently, and it just makes me feel a deep gratitude for that connection. So I wish you all a very beautiful, peaceful time. Happy crafting, happy knitting, happy playing, have fun with color, with your family, take care of your health, and look forward to seeing you in the new year. I don't think I'll bring another podcast out before the end of the year. I'll have some new things to show you in a few weeks, and thanks for waiting for me to come back. And yeah, I'm enjoying being back. I put it off for a little while, but I can't really know why. And it seems like where I am right now, the light is really good, my spot is great, it's not so noisy, and I look forward to sharing all my creative escapades with you all. So take care, and thank you so much for watching.